Good evening. We're live on, I can't say we're live without going, we're live on episode 31 of the Vegan Hour, and I have the wonderful Hannah Renee with me tonight. And I think I can hear,
Hey everyone!
and I got the floor crew hasn't silenced all the equipment in the background. Now if we're pixelated, don't panic because the pixelation will sort itself out shortly. And also, if there's any issues with the sound and that, just let us know. So this is what we're doing tonight. The first time that you may notice you can read Vegan Life behind me, Vegan Hour, and Vegan Frothers and Froth Fest. You can read the whole thing the right way around. How amazing is that? That's actually the correct way around. Matt says, "Oh, good. Thanks for watching,
Hey
Matt."
Matt!
He says, and she says, Matt says, "G'day, Mr. Harry and Hannah. I'm your first comment." And Cherie says, "Woohoo! You're facing the right way." Yes, it's about time in my life I faced the right way. So what I've done, tonight was a bit of an experiment to see how well it works this way around, because somebody commented last week and they may have not watched the show before, but they made a comment that the writing was reversed, and it does make it a little bit more difficult. So Chris says, "All good, we can see and hear you." Excellent, that is great. So tonight's episode is all about self-love, self-worth, and self-respect, honoring yourself. Now, Hannah is going to share her journey with us, her vegan journey, her own personal journey in regards to this. And we're going to learn a lot tonight. Hopefully, I'm going to learn a lot tonight too. So, but before we get to that, guys, let's just mention that the Vegan Hour is sponsored by Vegan Frothers, and that means on the Sunday, 8th of October, there is the Froth Fest. And wow, if I get that up close enough, you can actually see that the right way round. Can you believe that? I'm impressed. Now that is only $10 a ticket, and the Miami Marquetta goes 100% vegan from lunchtime, from 12 noon till 8 p.m.
Wow.
Fantastic, isn't it? They go completely vegan. There's live music, there's the food, live music, and there's a bar there for people that want to drink. Now, the fantastic thing is it's only $10 a ticket, and you can win. You might even actually be able to read this if you're really good. This is actually showing some photos of the Angry. I hope I've got that right. Angry. Anyway, it's a resort. You win 4 nights accommodation for 2 adults and 2 children in a 2-bedroom deluxe villa in northern New South Wales near Yamba. So there you go.
Beautiful.
So get your tickets for the Froth Fest, $10 each, and there's also vegan froth. I've got to put it right so both cameras can see it. There's also Vegan Frothers clothing, there's a surfboard, there's bikinis, there's all these wonderful things that can be won. There's also door prizes for Greenhouse, for Mandelas, for Sarah Bar, the giveaways, and also the proceeds are going to Save a Cow and to Sugar Shine Farm Sanctuary. Wow. That was a sell, but it was worth it. Now, also coming up this weekend, this Saturday, is my Vegan Life lunch for the first time ever at Raw Authentic in Tweed Heads. It is actually booked out, but I thought I'd mention it. So, yeah.
Can you squeeze one more?
We'll see how we go. Also, Saturday and Sunday, the Cruelty Free Shop in Brisbane is having what they call a vegan day out. So there's vouchers and there's freebies and there's cheap eats, and yeah, that's on Saturday and Sunday. And also on Sunday is the Cube of Truth in Surfers Paradise. I've got to say, this does feel a bit weird. I'm used to seeing the screen when I look this way, so I'm sort of staring into nothingness here. But if it gives you guys a better view of what's going on, then that will be fantastic. So, okay, so Hannah, seeing as most people probably don't know who you are, and oh, sorry about this, guys. This happens sometimes. My watch makes sounds. I didn't have it silenced. Okay, seeing as people may not know who you are,
yes.
Can we start with maybe your vegan journey? Why you became vegan? Because that's always the Vegan Hour is about veganism. So let's start there. So
Okay, so I became vegan in 2015 on my dad's
That far
birthday.
back? On your
Yes.
dad's birthday?
Yes.
Was that deliberate?
Yes.
That was deliberate?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is that like sending a message to him or what?
A little, it was like a little bit out of spite, but it wasn't, it was for me. But so before that, I was a complete meat eater. I ate meat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Like I would just buy ham in the container and just like.
Really?
Oh yeah, and I ate every animal there was, like
Wow.
kangaroo, rabbit,
Wow.
eels. Yeah, you name it, I ate it,
Ooh.
and I enjoyed it.
Oh.
So
Oh, I wasn't ready for that.
yes, yeah, exactly, like so different. But what actually made me go vegan was that I, for a long time, didn't feel right eating animals, and it was just something inside of me. But I ignored it because, you know, my family was like, eat meat, steak in your three
Yes.
vegetables, like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what started it is I started seeing documentaries, but that didn't change me.
Oh.
Like, I watched them and they affected
So
me.
what were some of the documentaries? Can you remember?
Earthlings. I
Oh,
sat
yes.
through the entire Earthlings.
And you didn't go vegan?
No, I didn't
And
go
that's the vegan maker.
Exactly.
Okay.
I watched Cowspiracy.
Yeah.
I watched Forks Over Knives. Like I watched all the documentaries. But what actually sent me vegan was I had a rabbit whose name was Crumpet, and he was like, he was the funniest bunny and had the biggest personality.
Wow.
And would watch TV with me and run around the house and was in love with my cat.
Oh.
Yeah, and he actually died, and yeah, he got sick, and I watched the emotions pass over him as he was sick. I could see the fear,
Yes.
I could see him struggling, and it just clicked. And he died like that night, and I was like,
so was it a fairly quick
it was
death?
within 12 hours, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, within 12 hours, and yeah, I watched the process of his emotions and how he was struggling, and yeah, when he passed, I was like, I can't anymore. So I started making the changes,
Wow.
and the final draw was I was at my dad's 50th birthday, and there was nothing vegan to eat, and Dad was like, just stop being ridiculous and have this pulled pork sandwich, and I forced myself to eat it, and I felt so sick.
Yeah.
And the next day was Dad's birthday, so I went vegan.
So the rabbit passing, just that made the connection for you.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I think that's the first time I've come across that, because you'd seen the documentaries. Maybe that had sort of laid the foundation a bit in the documentaries and that.
Yeah, they definitely laid the foundation, but I think it was because like Crumpet, he was my baby. Like I absolutely loved him, and he was the first animal I ever lost.
Yes, and that's always a big yes. That's always, and that was 2 years ago, 2015.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
There's Helen commented, "Hi from me. I'm in London now, watching you." I mean, last week I think she was in India or somewhere. She travels. It's amazing the places people go to watch the Vegan Hour from. Where will you be next week, Helen? And Michelle says hi and says poor bunny rabbit. Yes, it happens to the best of them. It does. Even funny bunnies called Crumpet. Crumpet the funny bunny. Anyway, we're going to come up with a song. And Sean says, "Hey Hannah."
Hey Sean.
It's part of the Hannah fan club. Is the only thing with doing the live stream the correct way around is I actually can't really see who's watching, because usually I can see people's names coming up, and I'm sort of staring through a mirror, and and I'm seeing it reversed, so it's not working. It's a pretty sweet setup, though. It's pretty happy with it. So okay, forget the technology. Let's get on with the show. So, okay, so now I believe that you've also faced some hurdles and some challenges. Challenges is the right word, isn't it?
Definitely.
But to your credit, you're a very open person. You don't mind sort of expressing what you've been through in the hope that it helps others.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So can we talk about maybe some of your challenges that you faced? Because you went vegan on your dad's birthday.
Yes.
Yeah. And what was his? Before we get to the challenges, let's just follow through there. What was his reaction to that?
Okay. My dad was extremely angry. Extremely angry.
Because
yes.
of that decision?
No,
Or just he
no,
was
just
generally
that I
speaking?
was going vegan.
Yes,
Yeah,
because of that.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's very much by society's book, and I am not. I'm the total opposite. I'm out there. I do everything that he doesn't.
Do you do that deliberately?
No, it's
No,
just
it's
me, and
it's
that's
just you. Yeah.
that was part of honoring me. I had
Yeah.
to stop walking my dad's shoes,
Yeah.
and I had to tread my own path, and he didn't like that. So he was very, very angry. So that first Christmas, he bought normal chocolates, like he always buys the chocolate stockings.
Yes.
And he bought the Cadbury chocolate stocking, and he went to give it to me, and I said, Dad, I'm vegan, and he like got so mad. He was so furious, but he slowly grew and got used to it and is really open. The next Christmas, so Christmas 2016,
yeah.
I walked in and saw those 3 chocolate Cadbury stockings, and I was like, oh no. I didn't say anything. I was like, not again. Like, but he ended up giving them to my sister and my adopted siblings, and and I was like, oh. And it just wasn't anything. I was like, okay, that's okay. Like, at least he's not angry. And he pulled out a bag. And he actually went to the shops, to Woolworths, with my grandfather, who is even more set in his ways.
Yes, even less vegan.
Yeah. And together they went around the shops and created a vegan bag. They didn't get everything right, but it was the thought that counts. So
it is the thought that counts.
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
Good on you, Dad.
Yeah. So he's changed in 2 years.
That is fantastic. Do you think maybe in time he might get more of the message and sort of?
I think it'll hit him health-wise in a couple of years. Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. There's only so long you can keep running from it, and then if you've got a bright young vegan influence in the household.
Exactly.
Yes. And Cherie says, that's beautiful, Hannah.
Thank you, Cherie.
It's what's interesting is so far that I'm learning from your journey is that it hasn't followed the norm.
No, it hasn't.
Most people, if they're vegan and they say we watched Earthlings, that's what made them vegan. But that didn't make you vegan. Nor did Cowspiracy or Forks Over Knives or that. So that's interesting. And then it's also interesting that the good thing is that you stood by your values with your dad.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Would you say that he's respected you more because of that, maybe?
As I'm growing, he is respecting me more every day.
Yeah.
And no longer seeing me as the little girl.
Yeah.
Because I was his little girl, first baby girl.
So, yes.
So he's always seen me, but he's
Yes.
definitely respecting me more as I stand my ground and I stay true to who I am, even though he doesn't understand it.
Does he question? Does he ask about your veganism and that, or he just doesn't go there?
No, Dad doesn't want to know about the parts that are different, and which is like everything.
Okay. Right.
So he'll ask about my weekends, but that's as far as we'll go.
Right.
He's like, I'll love you anyway, but please don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. You're sowing seeds in any case.
Yeah.
So you never know at which point it hits a person.
Yeah. And he's proud of me either way. He's just proud of me for
That's
being
fantastic.
Yeah.
We wish there were more dads that were proud of their daughters, or their sons and daughters. I mean, but that's fantastic. Yeah. So, okay, in that time, before we talk about some of your challenges and that, I just want to expand more on your vegan learning and your vegan experience. What have you noticed personally, like your changes with being vegan and that? Have you noticed health improvements or what?
Huge changes?
Huge.
Yeah. So before I went vegan, I not only ate meat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I was a severe junk food addict. So
I can't relate to that at all.
Yes. So, my meals, my day, every single day, I would have McDonald's for breakfast, Red Rooster for lunch, and pizza for dinner. And I would have to go to IGA every single day to get a jar of Nutella, and I would eat the whole jar. Every
Whoa.
day, every day.
That's not a particularly healthy existence.
Yes.
Wow.
So I was extremely, didn't know who I was, couldn't feel anything. And then when I went vegan, I went to being a junk food vegan, but things shifted. For the first time, I could feel the energy around me. Like it was unbelievable. Everything became more vibrant. My energy shot through
How
the
quickly
roof.
did that happen?
Oh, within a couple of months. Yeah, within a couple of months.
Your energy improved.
Shot through the roof. Everybody thought I was on drugs. I was just bouncing off the walls. Like
people still think I am.
Yeah, exactly. And my health. So I had been anemic since I was 16. Everything balanced out. So my iron, B12, and vitamin D were completely. I had to get blood tests every 3 months.
Wow.
Since I was 16.
That's not surprising considering the way you were eating was really.
Oh no, I ate better before that. That was just before going vegan.
Okay, so that was like a poor period. Okay.
Yeah, that was a very poor period. My health changed, like my energy changed, the way I could feel, the earth changed. Like it was just everything became more.
So what about the challenge? You were used to being a junk food eater.
Yeah.
So how did you? So you went vegan overnight.
Yeah. It was a bit slow, rocky. Because I was trying to change, and then when Dad, when he came to his party, and that happened, and I just couldn't do it anymore. That's when I just completely cut everything.
Okay.
But I just swapped my junk food meat food to junk food vegan food. In the beginning, so I swapped cheese for cheese and chocolate for chocolate and ice cream for ice cream and burgers and nachos or whatever. But vegetables started getting in there.
Vegetables.
I know.
I've heard they've invented vegetables. That's
They just snuck in.
Incredible. I must try. What are vegetables like? I've never tried them.
Oh, I crave them now.
That's great. Man.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So it's been huge diet shifts. Like that was just the beginning.
So what would make up your a typical breakfast, lunch, dinner for you now compared to
today?
Yeah.
So every morning I have a spinach and banana smoothie. I crave it. I have a fresh veggie fruit juice that I make, and my lunch consists of salads, Buddha bowls, and and then I have
When's the restaurant opening?
And then I just have my shakes at night.
Wow, that is very helpful. And you're not having to get a blood test every 3 months anymore?
Not at all.
But have you had a blood test since you've gone vegan?
Oh, plenty. Yeah,
and
I've had plenty.
They're good?
My last one was in March. It was all fine. Everything has been fine.
And are you supplementing with B12? Or you haven't been yet?
I think it's in the shakes that I have.
Right. Okay. Because it is possible to go years without supplementing. So, but okay, that's cool. Okay. Now, while I'm talking to Hannah tonight, as we get more into her journey, if you've got any questions about some of the things that she's faced, please ask away, because Hannah is a very good representation of young vegans that are changing the world. That's what I said in my promo video. And would you agree that there seems to be like a good change happening, and there's a lot of people in your age group and younger as well that are really they just have this awareness now. They're just like, it's quite inspiring, isn't it?
But some people, so not only is the world shifting into this consciousness, but I'm finding that a lot of young people are they get quite scared of it and unsure of it, and they feel like they don't belong. So this is where I really want to lead with you tonight, Harry, because I want everybody to know that they do belong. You belong just by being here. It's not about fitting in. You don't need to fit in anywhere. And when you start aligning with yourself, that's when what you truly crave will start to walk into your life. You know, those people that you just want to feel like they're your tribe, they will walk in when you honor yourself.
Wow, I'm getting the Hannah message coming through now. This is good. This is good. You've tapped into it now. This is beautiful. I'm going to shut up and let you just keep talking. That's wonderful. What we're hearing now is probably the way you talk when you give your talks.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Mm.
Tell us a bit about your talks, and then we can expand more.
Go into the challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so part of honoring myself and part of my journey. So the first way I did honor myself was going vegan when I didn't know anybody else that was vegan and coming from a very meat-eating family. So that was my first step.
Okay.
That was the first big challenge into honoring myself.
Yep.
Next was joining Toastmasters.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So this is where my speaking came into it. I joined almost a year ago now. And what you see tonight is I just get really into it because I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about talking about the lessons that I've learned and passing that on and giving people value, because I so believe that everybody is so worthy of what they want. And it's just about changing that. And I tell people my journey of how I've changed it so that they can use the pieces that resonate for them and change their own.
Yes. Excellent. So having the courage to express what you've been through.
Yes.
Really touches people.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I'm such an open book, and I encourage anybody to ask me anything and I will give you my absolute honest answer.
Yeah. Okay. We want some questions coming up, like not silly ones like what's the capital of Norway. I mean, really genuine questions. Okay.
Yeah.
So how have you found the Toastmasters experience?
So I remember my very first speech. It's just an icebreaker. It's just about your life.
Yes. Okay.
And I wrote it about falling in love with myself.
Oh, good.
Yes, and
good.
I remember I was so nervous. I actually scrunched and held onto my dress the entire time. That's how nervous I was. It was so funny. But that's it. You just keep going. It's just that first step. And so that was my first speech, and that was back in November last year. I'm delivering my 9th speech on Thursday morning into my first international Toastmasters competition.
Wow.
Yes.
That's here on the coast?
Yeah, it's just club based. So if I make it through, I will go through each level. So area, division, district, and then Chicago's international is in Chicago next year.
So you might be there.
Maybe. We'll see how I go.
We can say we knew you before you were famous. Maybe not rich, but famous.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So,
so this will be your 9th speech on Thursday morning. Yeah. That's great. So how's you felt your confidence improving a lot since the beginning? Yeah.
For anybody that does want to improve their confidence, I encourage them to join Toastmasters. It's not about it's not about just getting up and speaking. You don't have to be a speaker at all. It doesn't even have to be for work. There's so many different reasons, but the confidence it gives you is just like no other. Just getting up there and speaking your truth, and you just have such a support.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it gives you confidence? Is it because you're gaining experience?
Yeah, I think it's because one, you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and when you get up and after you've finished it, it's an accomplishment, and you feel really good about that. So it's just about taking that first step.
Yeah. I'll just interrupt you there. Walter comments, I thought you'd swap seats with the invitee. You're the invitee. But just realised you fixed your camera. Yes, we have it the right way around, just for you, Walter. Actually, maybe it was you that commented last week, but somebody did. And anyway, I've gone to some trouble to try and make it work this way. So, so the experience, yes, the more you do it, the more you sort of relax into it, and the more confident you become.
Exactly.
So what about if you have a bit of a fumble or a bit of a stumble, one of those things? I had a stumble trying to say it. But if you have a sort of you feel like you lose your confidence a little bit because you haven't had a good speech or something, does that happen?
Definitely. I have gone through some of my speeches so unprepared and been like, oh my God, this is going to be terrible. I feel terrible. But when you deliver it and afterwards, because you're evaluated on every
Yes.
speech.
Okay.
And
Yes.
they give you a sandwich. They give you a positive, something to improve on, and then a positive. And they always leave you on that positive. So it doesn't matter how badly you done.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they don't even notice.
Yeah.
Like it's all in your head. It really is all in your head.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm so bad. My speech is so bad. It's not good enough. So
Yeah.
it really is all in your
That's
head.
a good point. It's all in your head. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So you might be thinking, or there is a question there that we're going to get to in a moment from Shireen, a really good question too, and also one from Sean. So you might be thinking, oh, I've done really badly, whatever, and then you get your evaluation.
Yeah.
And it's not what you were thinking.
No, it never is.
It never is.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
The stories that we have in our head and how other people see things are two different things a lot of the time.
Completely different.
Yeah.
We are our worst critics.
Yes. We can be. Yeah. It's amazing because you get feedback from, what I've noticed is if you're a really, really bad critic, self-critic, and this fits in with the self-love journey, right? If you're a really bad self-critic, even if somebody's praising you, you're not going to accept it, are you?
No,
because it goes so far against this wall you built up of I'm useless or whatever. That's like, no, I don't believe it, you know.
Speaking of that, if you don't love yourself, it does not matter how many times somebody tells you you're beautiful or that they love you or how many people tell you, you won't believe it.
Yeah. And we'll get to the questions just now, but let me just say there is a very good video on YouTube that actually shows that. It's very simple what they did. They interviewed people randomly and they told them that it was a setup basically, but they told them they were just taking photos of them or something. While they were doing it, they said, by the way, you're beautiful, whatever, and they filmed their reactions.
Yes.
And the reactions from people were so varied from thank you, that's, you know, they accepted the compliment, through to people actually feeling, it was sad, people feeling threatened and going, don't say that, don't, you know, and it's really, it only goes for a couple of minutes, but it's an amazing video to watch.
That it's about what they play in their mind.
Exactly. It was a real interesting example of it. Okay, question time. Sean says, do you ever feel drained after speaking?
No, actually I don't.
The opposite, right?
Yeah, I do feel the opposite. At first, I can get really, really nervous when I'm about to throw up.
That's pretty nervous.
Yeah, it just depends. But then I get up and I will start speaking. Even when I'm nervous, I might be shaking or something like that. But somewhere along the way, something just flicks in me and I just light up like on fire. So
like you have tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was actually really nervous to do this. So yeah, but no, I don't. I feel vibrant, like I can conquer the world afterwards, even after I've finished. Yeah.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
It
is. Facing your fears is a good feeling.
Yes, yes.
Now, there's a really good question that's we're going to expand on this question because Cherie wants to know about Toastmasters. Can you please explain how it is set up? Is it open to the public to watch? Can anyone attend? Do you need to enlist at each event? So can we?
Okay, yes, I'll tell you.
Let's talk about Toastmasters.
So with Toastmasters, there are like clubs all over the world. It's in every single country, I'm pretty sure now. But even on the Gold Coast alone, there's probably like 20 clubs on the Gold Coast in all different areas. They are open for guests to come along at any time to check it out. When you walk in, you just put your name down, that's it, and they'll like, you're able to, it's a sign up process. So I pay 6 months, like it's a club membership, and you get manuals. So in the manuals, in my first manual, I have 10 speeches to do, and each one is on a different like topic sort of thing. So I have to look at my body language, or I have to look at the way the speech is written, or vocal variety, or inspiration.
That's a good terminology. Vocal variety.
Vocal variety is really important because when somebody talks monotone all the time, you just get really bored and
very quickly.
Zone out.
Yes.
So it is open to guests all the time. I encourage people to go onto the Toastmasters website. And you can just Google it and then just look for a club in your area. I go to Robina Sunrise, which is 7:30 a.m. every Thursday morning. No, sorry, 7 a.m. every Thursday morning at the McDonald's outside of Robina Town Centre, just in their party room. And it starts on the dot. So Toastmasters is run. There's so many different jobs in the running of the little meeting. And so it starts at exactly 7 o'clock. So it's best to get there before then. So 1:45 is really good.
When you say there's a lot of jobs in Toastmasters, is a voluntary organisation?
Yeah, sorry, there's a timer, there's a grammarian, there's
there's another good word, grammarian.
Yeah.
We don't use that word enough in society.
So good. Yeah, evaluators, the speeches, obviously, the Toastmaster. So you just put your hand up each week for whatever you want to do. Yeah, but guests come along, you don't have to say a single word if you don't want to. Not a single word.
They don't force you into.
No, not at all. It's completely your decision on when you want to do things. It's when you feel ready. Yeah, guests can come and go as they like, or you can join and be a part of the club.
Excellent. That's a good. That's a very good. I've learned a lot from that because I didn't know a lot about Toastmasters either. So, Sonia asks, I come from a family of meat and 3 veg, strict Catholics. When I first became a vegetarian, I was 23. And got a nose ring and went and went from having this is a long one. This one this is the novel and I'm waiting for the movie to come out and went from having long blonde curly hair surfy to shaving my hair off. For me, it was completely stripping my ego on a spiritual journey. But to my family and parents, I had gone completely crazy and I was weird.
I'm with you, girl.
It's good when you can do that to your family.
Yeah.
And all I spoke about and believed in was rubbish, and that I was a hippie, the way I was bringing up my kids as vegetarian lifestyle. But it took time to gain their respect and acceptance.
Exactly.
But that actually came when I stopped seeking their approval and found self-love.
Yes, that's it.
Which is a continual journey in life. Power to you, Hannah. I work with a lot of young girls, and it's beautiful to see the awareness growing towards the conscious decision to be vegan. The vegan conscience is growing in power.
It is, definitely.
Yes, and Cherie also replies to what you're talking about with Toastmasters, thanking you for talking about it, and she will definitely check it out.
That's awesome, Cherie.
That is awesome, yeah. So, okay, so Toastmasters has helped you gain confidence.
Yes.
Have you been speaking in other arenas? Oh, you've actually, yes, you have. You've been doing poetry slams, haven't you? I just remembered that one. Yeah. Tell us about poetry slams. What do you get, a book of poetry slam on the ground?
We should like that. Here, have some poetry.
Yeah. And I'm going down to get some vegan food from Feed the Earthlings or Flower of Life or something like that. I'm glad I slipped that one in there, Flower of Life. Yeah.
So because I actually write as well. So this was a part of my self-love journey. And this came before Toastmasters, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
So you were slamming poetry before you were...
No. Poetry's only just started, but my writing started...
Earlier.
Yes.
So you were writing earlier before you were mastering Toast.
So I'll start there. Yes.
I'm glad somebody picked up on that one.
Oh, I get that all the time. What is Toastmasters? Do you cook toast in the morning?
Why do they call it that? Do you know?
Honestly, no.
No. Okay, that makes 2 of us. So we're unanimous in that.
Yeah. My writing actually started. So my life journey so far. So I'm 24, has been a crazy, beautiful roller coaster, challenging storm.
I love the description.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I don't have enough words to describe my.
I wish I'd put that on the promo photo or the video. The crazy, challenging. What was it?
Beautiful roller coaster
storm. Wow.
Like that. Yeah. So I won't step into the challenges yet. We'll get to that.
Yes.
But
it's always good to leave them to later.
Yeah. For years, I was told, Hannah, just journal. Just, write down, dear diary, blah, blah. I'm so not a dear diary girl. No.
Is that too formal?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was just, not me. And I don't actually like writing. So what actually...
So you're a writer who doesn't like writing?
I'm a writer who doesn't like writing by hand. Yes.
Oh, okay, yes.
So I actually was kind of triggered into it. And what happened was it was August 2016, and something huge in my life just absolutely knocked me off my feet. And I had so many emotions, so many grief, shame, anger, rage, sadness. Like I was just feeling everything and I couldn't handle it. And I was in my car and the music was up so loud because I was just furious and had so much rage. And I was just like, right, I just have to get it out. And I've never written before. Picked up my phone and just went at it.
Yeah.
And I went at it. And I haven't stopped since that day.
Fantastic.
And what happened was, what led me into poetry is that all my writing is poetic for some weird reason.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just write, that's just how I write. I just write in a poetic way. So I was actually doing speeches. I was writing my speeches in the beginning.
Yeah.
And they're like, Hannah, we love your speeches. You are so animated, such a beautiful writer, but you're trying to remember them while you're speaking. They said you can't write them anymore. They said you need to go do poetry. And I was like, okay. So I did my first poetry slam a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, only a couple of weeks ago.
Only a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
And it was beautiful and I loved it and it was so much fun.
This was at, was this down at Crumlin?
Dust Temple.
Dust Temple?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Do they dust the Dust Temple before people go in or do they just leave the dust sitting there?
Oh, it's incredibly clean, I think.
They should name it.
Awesome vibe, I might say.
Yeah.
Awesome vibe, like amazing.
Yeah.
But there is actually a poetry slam this Thursday night at Dust Temple. It starts at 7.
Thursday's a busy day for you.
It is. It is a very
Yeah.
busy day. I've got my speech in the morning.
Speech in the morning and slamming poetry at
yes,
night.
I will
Wow.
do my second poetry on Thursday night.
So how challenging do you find doing that? You've only done the one so far.
Yes, I've
How
only done
challenging
one.
was that?
It was scary.
Yeah.
It was actually a lot scarier than Toastmasters.
Really?
Yeah, because this is an audience I didn't know. Like, I know my club. Like,
Yes.
I love my club.
Yes.
So this was actually
Yes.
really good. This was
Yeah.
my next step outside the
Yeah.
comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. I remember it was so funny when I walked in and Josh, the man who runs it, he's beautiful.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, so you're reading from your phone? And I was like, what? Like, no. And I was like, I memorized it. And he was like, oh, wow. He's like, most people read from their phone. And I was like, oh. Like, I didn't have to go to that much effort.
Is that how most people do a poetry slam? They read from their phone?
Yes, they do. So people write their own poetry and then you can just read from a piece of paper or a phone. I encourage people to come along and come get up there. It's so exhilarating.
Well, that's exactly. If you want to see Hannah in action and get the real life version of her enthusiasm,
come up and hug me. Like,
give her a hug and say hello and say, we saw you on the Vegan Hour 2 nights ago because this will be Thursday night, or even go along to Toastmasters on Thursday morning if you're free. And
yes, please come along to Toastmasters. Come along to Dust Temple. Toastmasters actually 6:30 this week because we've got our competition on. 6:30 a.m. Yeah, Zoe. But yeah.
I was the only one that got up that early.
Yeah. So that's what's led me into poetry because my writing was just poetic. It's just poetic.
That's fantastic. So I want to ask you about what your poetry is about, but this will probably be getting into your challenges. So we'll get there in a second. The studio, not everyone in the studio audience silenced their phone. First it was my watch going off. Now it's, I know, well, it's a good night for it. Now, Sonia says, sorry about the life story, Harry. She meant what Sonia means is a huge, long comment that she made earlier. But so refreshing to see a beautiful, young, vibrant girl with such energy for life. And that's true, yes. And love to you, Hannah. That's a very nice. This is
actually a beautiful starting point for the challenges, if you want to jump into that, Harry. Because I wasn't always a vibrant girl with energy for life.
Let's talk about your challenges.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go into it. Just so you guys, because that's where I can give my real value. Okay.
I like that. Real value. Yes. I like that.
So when people meet me, they think I was just born like this, right? I'm just full of life and I'm so full of love and so full of gratitude. Hell no. I have worked my absolute ass off to get here. So we'll go to the beginning.
Beginning's always a good place to start a journey. Yeah.
So I was 3. My parents split.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
yes,
that's always a big,
yes,
that's a big one.
that's my first memory
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. That's your first memory?
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
okay, that's an interesting starting memory.
So
Wow.
that really started my challenges for life. And I'm so grateful for my challenges because they've gotten me to where I am today. But yeah, so when I was 3, my parents split, and because
so
like
continuing on your journey.
just from that and from me forming those beliefs as a child, I attracted into my life a lot of abuse.
Okay.
A lot of abuse.
Really? Okay.
Yes. So as I walked through my years, I was, like I remember I was bullied severely in high school, verbally and physically at one point. And I was sexually abused by multiple people. I developed eating disorder, depression, anxiety, which led to me attempting suicide and ending up in hospital. Yeah, so I got to the point where I literally felt worthless in my life. And
when you look back, you see, you've said a lot of things there that are pretty, like I'm just taking them in now, you know, and I'm pretty, I'm like, wow. Do you feel that because of the way that you didn't value yourself, that's what that's what you were saying, it attracted that energy in, that negative energy?
So I'm saying, so as a child, when I developed those beliefs, like I didn't feel worth much. So I attracted all this, you know, because I believed I was unlovable. That's what I got. I believed that I was a bad person. So that's what I got. I got that abuse, right? Because I deserved it. Like I deserved being hurt. I deserved,
okay, so we can look at it now and say that's what was happening.
Yes.
How did
I change it?
How did you feel? Well, that's a good question too. How did you change it? But how did you feel at the time when it was happening? Did it just reinforce your feelings of your lack of self-worth?
Yeah, so as I took each blow year after year, and they got more and more severe. So I started off lightly, and every other, like, as they kept going, it got worse and worse and worse to the point where it tipped over, sort of thing.
And the tip over point, is that we were talking about trying to commit suicide?
Actually, no, there was one after that.
Oh, okay.
It gets worse.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so but my work depreciated to the point where I wanted to end my life. A new belief formed then. Like, so these all sort of represented evidence, you know, evidence to my beliefs, and kept building
to the story in your head.
Yes, and keep depreciating my worth.
Yes.
And got to the point where I remember clear as day, that time where I did chose to end my life. My belief at that point was that I hurt every single person I came into contact with.
Wow.
Every single person.
Wow, that's a really...
Because I was a bad person, right?
Wow.
Like, that's what I believed.
That's a really low level of self-esteem, isn't it?
And so I felt that I no longer deserved to be in this world or on this planet.
Wow.
So I was doing the world a favor by leaving it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I want people to realize that suicide, there's so many different reasons. And like in my head, that was the most selfless act I could ever do, because in my head I hurt everybody I came into contact with. So wow. That's actually, it's very sobering. Yeah, exactly. So just, you need to have an open mind with people, and don't blame them. How could you do that to me? You can't leave me. Like, no. Get it out of yourself and put yourself in their shoes. So you ended up in hospital. Yeah, I woke up the next day. God bless my little eyes opening up. Thank goodness. Because it was at that point I was 19 and I couldn't see my next birthday. Wow. Like I couldn't see it. That's incredible. And, it's what's still... even more amazing is hearing that coming from you and seeing the way you are now. I'm just like, wow. So when my eyes opened in hospital, like that's something inside of me was like, no, you have to live. And I woke up and I was like, I need help. I need help just to get to my next birthday.
Yeah.
So this is where things got worse before they got better. So I tried getting help, and at first it wasn't the right kind of help.
Okay.
So I got out of hospital and my dad came and got me actually.
Yeah.
He drove, like, because I called him and I said, this is what's happened, and he just rushed straight in, like, and took me back to the Gold Coast because I was on the Sunshine Coast at the moment. And by a friend that I trusted, he said he was going to help me. And his kind of help wasn't the kind of help that I needed. I mean, it was exactly what I needed at the time because it's who I am today, but I was actually raped. Yeah. So that was the catalyst. That was the absolute worst of the worst that could ever happen. Like, that was the catapult into my self-love, actually.
Wow.
Yes. And
so it was the worst of the worst that
yes,
could happen.
Yes, and I actually thank that man that did that to me. That I absolutely
I'm
do.
Pretty much speechless at this point.
Honestly, like, it blows me away. Like,
wow.
When that happened, I was definitely worthless at that point. I hated myself. I hated my body. I hated everything about me. And I was like, there's nowhere left to go. I'm the gutter. Like, I'm the gutter. Like, that's just, and it took me a long time to change that and actually realize what happened too, because it was in a way like, I'm helping you, like, sort of thing. That is
a really, I can't even find the words, a really terrible betrayal of trust, isn't it? Like, but terrible is not a strong enough word. I need a stronger word than that.
Well, it literally broke every part of me. It broke everything, every single part of me. Like, no longer trust. Like, it broke every part of me. So I got to start from the ground.
Oh, wow.
And that's the thing. So I went and got help. And that's the first time when I actually became aware of the beliefs in my head. So I'm so grateful. So that, like, honestly, guys, that is step one. Be aware of what your beliefs are. Because you can move mountains by knowing that.
How did you become aware? What sort of help was it that...
Yeah. So I went to a Centaur retreat. A beautiful retreat. It's called Fountainhead. It's up at Mullaney. They are magic.
Isn't that the Vipassana place?
No.
No, it's not? No. Okay.
No.
Mixing up the names.
Yeah. No, Fountainhead was beautiful, but I worked with life coaches. So I actually lived there for a month.
Okay.
And I worked with life coaches, journey therapists, like everything you name it. I worked with it, and I worked hard. Yeah. So but that was just the starting point. So, actually getting help and asking for help from professionals like psychologists, life coaches, anything is the first step.
And obviously very hard to do if you don't feel that you should have the right to even ask for it.
Exactly. I definitely just ask for help, honestly, is the first step. And they will show you how to be like, oh, that's your belief. So they'll watch what words you speak.
Yes.
And then it'll come through. And I can pick it up on anyone now. Like, if my friends are like talking, I'm like, hold up. That is not working for you. Change it.
I love it.
Yes. So,
sorry, go on. Yeah.
I was just going to say, from the awareness, that's when you rewrite it. And I did. That's what was the start for me. I rewrote my beliefs.
And how long did it take you to rewrite your beliefs?
Oh, so I put pen to paper straight away. That was easy.
And you were literally rewriting your beliefs.
I literally rewrote them first. And
that would have been a suggestion from your life coach or whatever there probably to do that.
Exactly. I guess you can call them affirmations, whatever. But I rewrote them to I am worthy. That was my first one. I am worthy.
Yeah.
I am loved, and loving.
How did you feel writing that? Did you not believe it at first? Or?
Oh no, I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I
Yeah.
didn't believe him at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's taken many years. So that was 5 years ago that
Wow.
that happened. So
Was there a point in which the reality of what you were writing struck you so deeply in your heart that you just broke down? Was there a point where this? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember. Oh, there's been many moments where I'm just like, this is real. Like I remember driving home from work off Tambourine Mountain, and I was just in the car, and I'm going, I am worthy, and it just hit my heart, and I was like, holy shit, I'm worthy. Like, holy shit. Like,
isn't it wonderful?
It is like.
And you felt the emotion?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I still get caught out, like when I'm just standing there, you know, just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing you, sister.
Yeah. You do, like speak them until you believe them. Just keep speaking them.
And it's possibly from what you've experienced, maybe it's different affirmations for different people.
There are no, you know, we're all different. We've all had different experiences, and we all think differently, and we all have those old different beliefs.
So because you've been through such an intense experience at a young age, and because you've come out the other side, and I got to say, I had no idea.
No.
I had no idea. I mean, you said you could talk about anything, but I didn't realize it. I mean, I'm just like blown away.
But that's why I tell this story, because I want people to know I wasn't born like this.
No, it's not only that, but you would have a massive appreciation of what other people might be going through, even if it's not that intense. You know, even if it's a milder version of it. Because you're like, well, I've been there, I've been knocked down, and
I know how, even if I haven't been through an experience, I know the feelings, and I can feel it, and I can sit there with them just while they stand up and start walking.
I mean, you would be well qualified on an emotional and experiential level. Wow, that was a word, experiential. I've never used that word before.
I like that word.
You'd be well qualified to be in a counselling role or something like that.
I've been told to go get my psychologist degree, but at this point in my time, in my life, it's just not my passion.
And that's fair enough. It's early days yet, and you are finding your passion with your writing, with your speaking. It's just amazing. If you guys are, I notice nobody's asking questions. That's because everyone's just, I think, sitting there with their jaws dropped down, going, wow. Because that's I don't know how to respond to it. It's other than to say I'm just really, really impressed that you could come out the other side of it. Do you look at? I mean, it's still. In your journey, I mean, you're only 24 years old, so so relatively speaking, you've had a lot of experience crammed in that, but you haven't had the opportunity in years to maybe have seen what's happened to a lot of other people. You know what I mean? Like for instance, like I'm in my 50s, and I get to see people over the decades. I get to see the same patterns repeating in people. You know, like not doing the right thing. I say not the right thing, but you know, like your mum was an alcoholic, for instance, right?
Yes.
Those sort of things. So where I'm leading to with this question, boy, it's a long one, this one, is do you see these patterns in people already and sort of, you do?
Yeah, so I can pick up, part of my growth has actually been that I can just, I've become very attuned to people. Their words, I can feel their emotions almost instantly.
Wow.
The changes instantly. I can't.
Like an empath. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I get a bit confused. But yes, I can feel and know pretty much exactly where somebody's sitting. But I can. This is the thing. I won't just let you sit there. You know, I'm not gonna let you stay. I'm gonna pick you up on your
Wow.
bullshit, and we're going to change those beliefs.
That is
Because
fantastic.
yeah, I don't want anybody to stay in that place. Like, honestly, I know what it was like. I remember the severe anxiety that would crush me and keep me in my wardrobe for hours. I remember the tears that would just leave me on the bathroom floor. I remember the absolute fear from post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, I know it all. I've been there. I've walked that, you know, and I bet I've walked out of it. And that's what I want people to know, is that you can stand and you can take that step out of it and into your true worth. And your true worth is infinite. It is absolutely infinite, and you belong. You absolutely belong on this planet. Absolutely everybody belongs on this planet. And I don't care if people say, oh no, but ISIS doesn't belong on this planet, or this terrorist, or this murderer, or this rapist doesn't belong on this planet. Yes, they do. They do. Because put yourself in their shoes. How did they grow up? Were they tortured as a child from their parents? Like, do you know what that's like? Like, everybody belongs on this planet, but everybody has their own shit, right? Everybody has their own belief system. So whenever you're angry at someone, be like, why am I angry at them? Like, and what are the beliefs playing in their mind? You know, do they think that they're not worthy of something, and is that why they're angry? Do they think that they're worthless compared to you, and that's why they're being angry to you? Like, so it's really like about just owning your own shit. Just own it and then face it.
You have found your power.
Oh yeah.
You have found your power. I want to. There's a couple of comments come up.
Yes,
I want to ask one more question myself. How do you feel when you see someone that really is struggling, like, and has been struggling for a long time, like, for instance,
influence on situations, right? You have influence on other people, and it's about using your influence in a positive way. Because if you use it in a negative way and go like, oh, that's terrible, what did that person do? Like, I can't believe it, you must be so furious. Like, no, like, you're just going into that energy, that negative energy, and making them feel worse and making them feel that anger. But that doesn't help them, and it doesn't help you. So it's about redirecting, right? Because they need to own their own stuff, but you have influence. You have influence. So just ask questions in a different way. And that's something that I've learned with Mum. Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry that we have to wrap it up, because we like to say the vegan hour changes your life in an hour, and I think it's definitely inspired me and probably quite a few people watching tonight. I mean, before we wrap it up though, let me just read some comments here. Cherie says, thank you for being so honest and open, Hannah. Your strength and desire to encourage others to love themselves, and encourage is exactly what you do, and believe in their true self-worth is just beautiful. What an inspiring soul you are. That's a beautiful comment, Cherie. And Justin says, he has a question. If you find it hard to visualize your goal because you don't believe it yet, how do you do your affirmations? Good question.
Of course. Okay, so when I first started out, obviously, my beliefs were extremely strong. Like, I mean, obviously, they drove me to the point where I didn't want to live anymore.
Yeah.
So when I first started saying that, I was like, this is stupid. I hate this. Like, I honestly, I was like,
a lot of resistance.
It was that angry resistance, right?
Yeah.
And there is like a cycle to it.
Yes.
I can't remember the cycle off my head, but you will feel so much resistance, like anger, boredom, like just, and then you'll go through the sadness, like, oh my God.
Yeah. How did you counter that resistance? Was that because you had support?
Yes. Support is so important. So building a support network, like psychologists, life coach, friends that support you, good, healthy friends that honor you, you know, excuse me. And so what it's about is, even if you don't believe it, with that old record, hit pause just for a second.
Right.
Play the new affirmation, even if it's just once. Just be like, I'm worthy. Just whatever it is, just get it out, like just say it, you know. And I know visualizing is so hard. Like it is so hard when you're so deep in those old patterns and you just don't believe it. But it's every day, honestly, just hit pause on that old pattern, say the new pattern, and then you can go back to the old one if you want, like, you know. But it is about just slipping in the new one. Just slip it in, just I am worthy, or like I am loved, or I am happy, like whatever it is. And whatever your goal is, like that's so awesome that you have goals. I think goals are so important. Just try and put it in front of you. Just, you know, whether it's speaking it or have a picture or anything, even if you don't believe it, and you will feel so much resistance. Like honestly, the self-sabotage that I went through.
Yes.
A bit ridiculous. But eventually the old pattern starts to crumble and the new pattern starts to build.
Fantastic. Here's to new patterns.
Yeah.
Let's go. One more comment from Sonia, and she says, still many lessons and journeys, highs and lows to travel, Hannah, in your young life ahead. And,
definitely. Bring them on.
But you've certainly just done amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for just sharing so openly what you've been through. I'm amazed. I think I'm still in a bit of shock. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching the Vegan Hour tonight. It's been very, very honest, and I really appreciate, Hannah, that you've just, you know, spoken your journey, because it's very inspiring. And if you want to see Hannah talking her journey through poetry or through Toastmasters, this Thursday you have an opportunity, both in the morning and in the evening. So so this has been, what is it? Let's wind this up. We've gone over time, so we're going to have to wind it up. So this has been episode 31 on Tuesday, August the 29th. I can't get my brain to function now. I'm still taking in your story. It's amazing. What's amazing is just how far you've come from where you were. It's just incredible. Next week, episode 32, I've got Guy Fitter, who's the author of Going the Distance. Guy has been on the show once before, and we're going to be talking about relationships, and I guess that's sort of a little bit of a maybe connection to what we've been talking about.
Oh, I love relationships.
Yeah, relationships are wonderful thing. Everyone should try one once in their life. And Justin says, thanks, I'll do that. I just lost my job, so I'm looking for something better now. I will do those affirmations he means.
Awesome, Justin.
And Stephen says, hi, Hannah. Good on you, Stephen. Anyway, so thanks, guys, for joining. So we'll see you next week for episode 32. And in the meantime, live vegan and save lives, and get your tickets to the Froth Fest, which you can read the correct way around in the background there. And I've lost my little, there it is. Hang on, I found it. There it is. Froth Fest. Okay. So have a great week, guys. And
thank you for having me.
Yes. Thanks again. Thanks very much. And we'll see you next week.